Max, you've been around a time or two. So when you look back on the Alabama series, you can reference it back to 2018. You have a favorite memory or something that stands out?
I mean, definitely the walk-off field goal win. That's got to be one of the best memories. But any time you play this team, it is a battle, and it's like a true SEC battle. It's one up front, it's one in the trenches, which I truly love. So yeah, I definitely think memory-wise, definitely the being on the field goal team and that last field goal win and playing in that game, and just that was really special. So.
Speaking of the trenches, you started here as a defensive lineman. Could you speak to the willingness to say, hey, I'll do whatever it takes to help the team and switch positions? I think you did it a couple times, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so definitely didn't plan this route whenever I came in. Was a defensive end when I first got here, but just some things happened with injuries and stuff. Sophomore year had a injury with my neck, where I got hurt in the Clemson game, and kind of had some things put in perspective where it was, I'm not a super tall defensive end. Having to play underneath guys, especially 6'7", 6'6" tackles. I'm going to get my neck kind of banged up on a little bit. So obviously super thankful to have Coach Fisher as he, we sat down with him and kind of talked through the process and talked through the options. He was fully supportive of me switching to tight end, which was really cool and really personal conversation that I'm super thankful that I got to have with him. But yeah, I mean, he supported me throughout that entire thing, and 2-3 years later now, kind of a different story than what I thought it was going to be. But I'm super thankful to be where I'm at.
We'll stay on that front row to Travis.
Yeah, with both you and Alabama coming in with no SEC losses, everyone else has taken one in the West. Does it feel like the race here is a little bit more wide open than it ever has when you come in and looking at this game and y'all's in goals?
Yeah, I mean, the SEC is always competitive, and it's always kind of a coin flip in terms of who's going to take it. There's always like 3 or 4 games that kind of decide which way the SEC is going to go. Obviously, every single game is a big game in this conference, and every single game can be a game that decides kind of the future of the year for any team. So this is just another game for us, and just a game that we're really going to take, importance in preparation and everything that we can. But yeah, I think that especially this year, it's a big game this weekend. So
we'll move back a row and go to Olin and then Cole.
Max, I'm not questioning you when you say that every single game is important and things like that, but really there's nothing special when you play a team like Alabama or LSU or some of the other, bigger name opponents on your schedule?
Well, you don't ever want to change the preparation or what you take into account whenever you're preparing for a team. Any team in the SEC can catch you off guard if you're not preparing the best that you can. So when I say that, nothing special, I don't mean that there's nothing special about them. They're a great team, and they're a really good team that we're, going to take a lot of preparation in to hopefully beat them on Saturday. But every single game in this conference is big. You can't take any team lightly, and you have to take every single team with the utmost respect that you can, especially whenever it comes to preparation. So.
No more excitement for Alabama than, say, for Mississippi State or something.
I mean, it's every game is exciting, and just being truthfully honest, every game's a big game, and you can't take any of them lightly. So
we'll stay on that second row to Cole.
Max, what do you remember about last year? I mean, the last time Alabama came here.
The environment. I mean, man, that was one of the coolest games that I've ever gotten to play here, especially Kyle Field. But I think that the 12th man really played a huge part in that win, especially just being able to come in and create noise, create chaos for that offense whenever they're on the field. It's a huge testament to the fan base that we have, and a huge testament to the program that we have for the support that we get. But I really do think that the environment is what I remember most. Being sold out crowd in front of that team, and afterwards them storming the field. It took me about 2 hours to get off the field before I get to see my family, but it was totally worth it. It was really cool.
And then you guys still, I'm not sure if you know this, but you guys were unranked the last time that you played Alabama here. You're unranked now. What does a win mean for this program and their status in the SEC if you're able to do it once again like you did in 2021?
I think it's proving grounds for us. I think that we're really excited about the team that we have this year and the guys that we have. We had a lot of veterans come back, guys who are really looking to make an impact on the future of this program. That's something that we talk about with Coach Fisher, is trying to set the basis and the standard for what the future of Texas A&M football is going to be. Think about like McKinley Jackson, Anayas, all those guys that decided to take one more year to come back. This year means a lot to us, and we want to do it right and go out the right way.
We'll go back behind the lights on the right side to Ben.
Hey Max, what's it like? You mentioned the environment. What's it like for you guys even this week, seeing the build up with ticket pull and people camping out for a week plus around the stadium and everything?
It's pretty cool. I mean, that's always awesome to see. Walking around campus, you see tents put up almost a week and a half out before a game. It just shows the commitment that the fans have for this team, and it's also it's really encouraging, for us, especially knowing hey, these fans or these students have classes and stuff, and they're out here sleeping in a tent on the concrete. I better prepare the best that I can to hopefully make the ticket that they buy worth it. So, yeah.
And then what's it like? I know you can't get overwhelmed by the moment. You guys just do your job every play. I understand that. What would you advise the young guys, and I guess just for those players coming of age, when you do have the moment where you see a play's developing, a chance to make a big play, or even if it's just like we really need to make this catch on third down, whatever it is, to kind of, as that play's developing, keep your cool and be able to execute? How do you best try to do that?
That's a great question. I personally try and get ahead of that in the middle of the week when talking to younger guys. Hey, you need to think of every single play that you're taking in practice as that big play. The pressure that you're going to feel in that moment needs to be the pressure that you kind of try to put on yourself during practice, because truthfully, that's what comes out in those moments is how you prepare and how you push yourself through practice, whether it's, oh man, I'm so tired, but we're about to go in a team good on good period right here, and I'm running a post route. I'm worn out, my legs are giving, and I'm going to have to maybe lay out for this ball. It's stuff like that that comes out whenever it's 3rd and 8, and we need a big play on a big drive at the end of the game. That's when those plays are made, is in the preparation. So
We'll stay toward the back of the room, just in front of TV row, to Chip.
Max, how much difference, if any, is there in the kind of ball that the quarterback, that Connor throws and then Max throws?
Really, the only difference is one comes out from a lefty and one comes out from a righty.
Yeah.
But
Does it take some getting used to, the spin?
It is a little adjustment. If it doesn't come out perfect, it kind of flutters a little differently than a righty than a lefty, but they both throw fantastic balls. I mean, those guys can sling it, and makes it really easy whenever they come out with really tight spirals, 90% of the time plus. So there's not a huge difference, but I mean, they can both sling it. So
We'll go second row on the left side to Alex.
Ben kind of took my question about all the people camping out, but I was just curious, looked like some of you guys went out and gave them donuts this morning. Were you part of that at all?
I was not, no, but I do know some of the guys who are out there doing that, and it looked really fun.
Yeah, they'd say anything people were saying to them at all, or?
I haven't had a chance to talk to some of them. I know Torrin York was out there, and he was saying that it was pretty cool. Everyone seems pretty fired up. It's exciting.
Cool. Thanks, Max.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll go back behind the lights in the middle to Tyler and then Rob.
Max, do you feel like at this point the offense and defense are kind of, I guess, played up to and kind of complementing each other better than they have all season?
I think that we're at a point where everything's kind of starting to click in terms of execution-wise. We've always understood the talent that we have and have always seen, what we have in store and what we're capable of. But I definitely do think that we're in a position where we feel like we're really clicking. And we have guys who are stepping up and making plays on both sides of the ball. I mean, the defensive line this past week and the defensive front seven getting, 16 TFLs or something like that. I mean, guys are just executing on a level that we're really excited about and that we know we can keep executing on going forward. So.
And what's the team's confidence level like? And how big is that, going through an SEC schedule to, coming off a couple of wins and having confidence coming into games like?
It's huge. Confidence in each other and confidence in the guy next to you, knowing that he's going to do his job. I think that's kind of what's been the separation is just, the buy-in and trust factor between guy to guy this season is pretty cool, and it's been pretty exciting to see. I mean, it's another year, but it's pretty exciting right now. So
We'll go fourth row on the left side to Rob and then to Travis.
Howdy, Max.
howdy.
So have you seen the movie Rudy before?
I have seen the movie Rudy.
Okay.
Yes.
I got to experience kind of, I call it a Rudy moment with you a couple of years ago when in practice, you were just sprinting from station to station. And another player who's not here was kind of, man, slow down. Why are you giving that 110%? But you became one of my favorite players when I saw it because it reminded me of Rudy and how in practice he was going 110%. Is that why you think that you've grown and gotten so much better and are having the success now? Is just because of that attitude that you even mentioned earlier, that in practice is when it happens so that you can be successful during the game?
Yeah, I think I take pride in that, and my journey here has been a little bit different than most people's. Injuries and switching positions and stuff like that. But I think that that's something that is a huge part of my character, and a huge part of who I want to be is somebody who is pretty resilient and doesn't back down to anything. But yeah, I definitely think that the preparation is where you win games, and I think that that's been showing this season and how we've been handling ourselves. But yeah, I take pride in that, and that's something that I try and do every single week to put me in the best situation to make plays in the game whenever my opportunity comes. So
We'll go front row on the right side to Travis and then wrap things up with Olin.
Yeah, going back to the students camping out, if you weren't playing football, would you be one of the ones who was pitching a tent and sleeping in a sleeping bag for 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think I would. I'm an Aggie through and through. So this is I love this university. I love this program. I don't know how it works whenever I graduate in terms of camping out maybe, but I don't know. I think I would be, yeah, for sure.
We'll go second row on the right side to Olin.
Yeah, Max, since you reminded us that you came here as a defensive end, and you just talked about the TFL's 14 sacks in the last 2 games. As a former defensive player, your reaction to that, and how much do you miss not being a part of that?
I definitely miss being a part of that. The sack celebrations are always really fun. And any time that you can be dominant up front, it's the best feeling in the world. But yeah, those guys are extremely talented, and we definitely feel it every single day in practice whenever we're going against them. But I think that's something that is a huge reason why we're having the success that we are on offense. I think iron sharpens iron, and those guys are really sharp iron as they're showing. But yeah, they're dominant, and anytime you get to be a part of that, it's super fun. So.
All right, that's all we have. Thank you, Max.
Thank you.